Hello, everyone. Welcome to your Thought Leadership Thursday. My name's Mark Flurka. I'm Bakerpedia's Baked in Science podcast host, and my guest today is Deepak Rhoda, the Vice President of Business Development for Enzyme Innovation. Welcome, Deepak.
Thank you, Mark. Nice to see you.
Nice to see you again as well. Enzyme Innovation is a research-driven manufacturer with more than 60 years of manufacturing experience and an unparalleled expertise in industrial probiotics and enzymes. They provide clean label, eco-safe solutions to more than 25 industries, including baking, food and beverage, craft brewing, and animal feed. Their enzyme solutions improve everything from shelf life to dough extensibility to crumb structure. And today, Deepak is with me today, and Deepak is a chemical engineer with a master's degree in bioprocess technology. Deepak has over 27 years of experience in chemical enzymes and probiotics, and ranging from product and application development to sales and marketing. So there we go. That's quite a list. I mean, you're very happy to have you join us, Deepak. Is there anything else you can tell us a little bit about enzyme innovations from your perspective and what you can share us?
Sure. So thank you for the nice introduction, Mark. And a little bit more on enzyme innovation is like we belong to the group of advanced enzymes. We are a leading enzyme and probiotic manufacturer globally. We do have a global base, like we are based in US and Germany and India. And baking is one of the industry we're walking into. We now have state-of-the-art baking application labs, which is kind of doing research and product development, and also customer support service.
That's wonderful. Yeah.
And the products are walking into more than 45, 50 different countries. So wow. Those are the developments in the last 5-10 years with us.
I bet you get a lot of demand in the baking lab these days. I mean, there's been so many things progressing and changing, and so much interest in enzymes in baked goods.
Absolutely.
For today's Thought Leadership Thursday interview, our agenda primarily is to talk about enzymes in egg replacement or reduction in eggs for cake. So that's kind of puzzling to me. Enzymes to replace eggs, so that there's a solution for that?
Absolutely, there is a solution for that. So depends what we are making in and how much we replace or how much we reduce. But we design beautiful product line under the brand name of CBake lines, and we do have a variety of solutions there.
Interesting. And so what is the science behind this application with regards to enzymes?
So as you may know, or everyone knows whomsoever is in baking, eggs in variety of baked goods, they are used for various different functionalities, such as binding, emulsification, leavening, texture, color, aroma, or maybe water activity, moisture retention, volume, variety of stuff. So here, one needs to have a system of enzymes together, right? Which will mimic the functionality of enzymes while one is baking the baked product. Depending on what it has been baked, then we may have to tweak a little bit recipe, and there are like series of enzymes which one can use it up. Of course, depending on how much eggs we are reducing, based on that, because we are reducing the protein there. So based on that, we need to see what else we need to put in to come up with a similar properties or performance or texture in the baked products.
And so speaking of texture, what kind of baked goods have you found that this works best in?
So it's like bread is very easy because in bread the amount of eggs which are reduced there, eggs which are used, they are pretty less.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so we gone to extent where we replace eggs completely in bread applications. Okay,
Wow,
but
that is
when
really
it
cool.
yes, this is like in a really an amazing thing. Of course, we had to tweak a little bit recipe to mimic the performance of eggs in bread.
Uh-huh.
When it comes to cakes, there are like different kind of eggs. So example, let's say pound cake. We are successfully replacing or reducing 50% of the eggs. Of course, we inching towards 70% reduction,
Uh-huh.
and that's with the enzyme system what we have designed. Of course, as I said, we have to make up some functionalities with the ingredients.
Mm-hmm.
Now, here also, it's very important what consumer is looking at and what they are comfortable with, and then there are a variety of options nowadays, which with the help of enzymes, the ingredients can be used along with the enzymes to mimic the egg properties. So cakes, cookies, and breads, in these three big products, we were able to work wonderfully well.
That's excellent. I mean, so speaking of cakes and protein, the holy grail, I guess you could say, often that happens with the replacing eggs, is angel food cake a possibility? Have you looked at that at all?
So we started working on angel food cake. The angel food cake is much different than the normal eggs, which one is making. In angel food cake, typically, to my understanding, people use only egg whites, and that has to
Correct.
be light and spongy,
Yeah.
and
Hmm.
it still have to be moist.
Hmm.
And there's like other than flour and egg white, and some people they use a little bit acid and sugar. Other than this, there's nothing else which is there. So that brings a lot of challenge to mimic the performance of egg
I've been there.
and replace that. But so there are nice enzymes where like using those enzymes we can modify the properties of egg, and there are some substrates which are available from the flour. Here, there's another challenge, and in angel food cake, the protein content into the flour is pretty low, as you may know, right?
Hmm.
So there we get more challenge because you don't have much to play around with those ones. So
Hmm.
there we started working. Initially, we see that okay, 20%, 22% kind of reduction is possible. We are looking at it how and what more we can do with the angel food cake.
Hmm.
Whereas compared to the normal eggs, normal cake, where one is using example like the whole cake, and then people are using also some emulsifiers or some lecithins. This is still possible. So there
Yeah.
we have a lot of substrates to play, and then the system of enzymes when working with these ingredients, one has to use these ingredients pretty less, and then these enzyme system they can really very well mimic the uh, performance or functionalities of cake in normal cake, like the pound cake.
Very
And
interesting. Yeah.
yeah,
I mean, that shows a lot of promise. I mean, I've done a little bit of work trying to use a pre-gelatinized lentil flour
yeah,
to replace egg white in angel food cake. And we could get the batter to whip, and it looked pretty good going in the oven, but it came out looking like a pancake, right? So, um,
it becomes mushy. Like
yep. Mhm.
good you brought that up. So like to support the industry, then we came up also with like the modified mung bean protein. where
Mm-hmm.
it should mimic the egg kind of an performance or functionality, the emulsification and leavening kind of stuff. So we did that one with an enzyme modification that becomes like a part of a solution to offer.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, but it doesn't work in angel cake. It becomes mushy. It becomes like
Yeah.
a really a pancake, as you said.
So with that in mind, what would you suggest are the best practices when it comes to, utilizing enzymes and formulating egg replacement?
So here, to my thinking, the first thing one has to consider is there are 2 points. It's from consumer point, and then it is also from the manufacturer point.
Mm-hmm.
Consumer today, they are moving towards more of a plant-based products and healthy ingredients. This is where consumer is moving. So that definitely says, hey, anything which is an egg replacement or egg reduction, people would like to use that one.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Uh, Many a times in the poultry farms, there is like a disease outbreak. Sometime it gets skipped, you never know, and that gets carried into the eggs basically. So people are scared there. So that's a consumer point of view. So definitely egg reduction is something which gets into demand. From manufacturer's point of view, they want to handle the less volume. Like the eggs are huge thing. It takes like a lot of logistic challenges and storage challenges. This is number one. With the price fluctuation, the sustainability is become like in a with the manufacturer. That's a big point. And third is yes, with the from last year and today, the rise in price of egg by 35%. So this is like a big challenge with the manufacturer. So certainly these are some challenges which is there, and that's the reason the egg reduction. So the practice here is it's very important to see what big products one is doing up. Okay, and example, if it is bread, then we know that there's less amount of eggs they are used. So if we are reducing eggs, then the protein replacement is less. But there is in bread, people use emulsifiers, people use shortenings, and people are open to use the protein. And bread is kind of in a chewy stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So using a normal plant protein also, that makes like to substitute the protein. I would say the deficiency which is coming with from the egg. This along with the enzymes, that is the best thing, and it works out really very well.
Yeah, because plant protein, that's the other objective at times.
Other objective at times.
Yeah.
When it comes to the cake part, basically, there it becomes a little challenge because cake has to be more spongy and it has to be more moist, right? So there we have a separate way of approaching it and a separate product line where to maintain those moistness and volume, and then a different kind of protein to be added. So the practice here is generally one has to look at protein, one has to look at what is the emulsification level or emulsifier have to be used in, and then with the proper system of enzymes. So yet enzyme is not there as an 100% enzyme-based product to do it. A little tweaking in recipe is required, and one has to work closely with the manufacturer, what they are doing it up, and then maybe we may have to tweak the product. Right now, we are pretty confident that the product line, the CBake EG line of products, what we design, it worked really very well across different recipes.
That's really good. Yeah. And so if a baker needs some technical support on, doing an enzyme, an egg reduction with utilizing enzyme, you mentioned that you're responsible for the baking labs and that you're doing a lot of work there. You can provide that technical support to the baking industry as well?
Absolutely. So like we are already doing this. There are like the clients who we have, we are working with them, helping them cooking the recipes and helping them to accomplish what they wish to with our system of enzymes. And this is all happening in our lab. And the only thing what we demand is the transparency there. Yeah, we need to understand very well what is being done, what ingredients are being used, or what ingredients they have available with, and then using their ingredients, we play around. If it is required, we customize a product. If we need to customize a product, we customize it.
Mm-hmm. Very cool. And so will egg replacement enzymes, do they affect the, the texture shelf life of things like of cakes and breads when we do the egg replacement?
Yeah, so egg is a beautiful thing, and beautiful but more complex. So as we know, egg is like two parts, yolk and egg white, so which is albumin and lecithin. There are fats. It's really difficult to mimic 100% the functionalities of egg. But yes, I would say that we are like when eggs are reduced and with use of enzymes and tweaking recipes, one comes very near to very close to the performance of what eggs they are giving in.
Very good. That's
Yeah.
good. Yeah.
So
And so water activity then as well, is that something that you're able to match or improve upon at all?
yes, so we were able to match up the water activity, including the volume and different texture properties as
well. So we've talked a little bit about the foaming and things like that. So are there any other physical properties of the dough or the batter that a baker should expect when they're doing egg replacement? Are they going to get the same type of foaming, or is there more rise in the oven, or how does that affect things?
So, as I mentioned earlier, we are reducing eggs, so we are reducing protein, right? So, protein is one thing where it helps for all that foaming stuff. So, one needs to have a substitute for that protein, and so picking up a right protein which has a foaming property which is very near to the eggs, it gets a little difficult. So one has to be really mindful. So there, what we have done is when we designed the enzyme system, we design in such a way, even if those proteins are used, the enzyme system would help to modify that protein while one is making a dough, so that it would really get closer to what egg functionalities provide. So not 100%, but then it's pretty close. That's what I would like to mention. And so while making a dough or anything like that one, they don't see a significant difference.
That's good.
Yeah, which is like become a concern. No, it doesn't happen.
That's excellent. Yeah. So that change is one thing, but sometimes bakers they're not always open to change, right? So and makes it that much easier if they don't have to expect a lot of difference. But one difference that they always enjoy, and that kind of brings us to the big question. You kind of touched on that a little bit earlier when in terms of eggs as a resource, is the cost effectiveness of using enzyme for egg reduction. So does this have a cost savings at all in supply chain?
Yes, it not only like the use of enzymes offer not only the cost saving, but then it also offers the sustainability. There is like a big, a considerable saving which comes in using enzymes. And the important thing I would like to mention here is it's about the yield, right? Many companies, they are offering the solution, so-called for egg replacement, but then with the recipes and with the ingredients, what I see at many places, there is a yield loss or there is a production loss because something is made up, but then something is replaced, but then it's not fully made up to the kind of a mass balance. Okay. So we brought up that aspect as well, where there is no production loss or the yield loss, and it gives sustainability as well as, so the net output is kind of 7.
Mm-hmm. And yeah, I mean, the thing, you touched on, you sort of hinted at in terms of eggs as a resource is also, the conversation of avian flu is not a matter of if, but when. And we've seen how that has been devastating on not just the cost of eggs, but even the supply availability of eggs a number of years ago. No matter how much you were willing to pay, you just couldn't get them because millions of hens had to be destroyed. And so it's still an ongoing issue, and it's very unlikely that your enzymes are going to get avian flu. So
Definitely. That's a good point. Definitely not.
yeah, very good. Now, this has been really informative, Deepak. I always enjoy chatting with you. We always get to learn more, and it's always wonderful to learn more about our wonderful sponsor, Enzyme Innovation, because you've been so supportive of Bakerpedia, and the things that you provide are a great support to the baking industry and a great opportunity for bakers to improve on their products. And when we make good products, we make people's lives just a little bit sweeter, right? So it's nice to have you be part of that.
No, so it's like we are always happy to share the research and share the development, what we are doing. And it's always a pleasure to get into the industry and help industry folks with the challenges they are facing, providing them solutions. And of course, very happy to share everything what we have, whatever we are doing. And thank you to you guys having us, so that with your platform, then we are sharing our developments and knowledge to the industry, and equally we are learning. So it's always nice to get with you guys.
Excellent. Well, everyone, that has been your Thought Leadership Thursday for today. My guest was Deepak Rhoda, the Vice President of Marketing and Business Development for Enzyme Innovation. My name's Mark Florka. I'm your Bakerpedia Baked in Science podcast host, and we'll see you again another time. Bye-bye for now.
Bye-bye.